This is a video on torquing of the cylinder base nuts. So the book calls out for an 80-inch shovel head that the nuts are torqued 32 to 40 pound-feet. I am going to do that in a 3-step process. So I'm going to torque them to 15 pound-feet, and then I'm going to torque them to 25, and then I'm going to torque them to 36. That'll give me a little room. I use a crow's foot on these, and they are 5/8. I also go in a cross pattern on these. So just to give you a little example, I get it on the nut, and then I just bring it up. Now I go to the cross corner on this, which is around the other side. The front cylinder, rear nut. Now I do the rear one over this side. I'm probably the only person I know that actually torques their base nuts and torques their cylinder heads. Most of the guys I know just bring them up until they feel like they're tight enough and then run. It's very important after you heat cycle the motor, because I put new rings in it. I put Hastings rings, had the cylinders honed. The original reason I went into this motor was because the rear cylinder had an exhaust valve leak. And I could notice it a little bit when it was idling and then a little bit rolling down the road. So I went in to do the valve job on it, and it's got about 30,000 miles on these heads. I decided to ring it while I was here. I had the cylinders honed and put new Hastings rings in, and now I'm putting it back together. The important thing with this, there's two important things, is that after you heat cycle the engine, and I use the S&S method to heat cycle it, where you do it 4 or 5 times until the cylinders are just at like 100 degrees or so, and you let it completely cool down and then start it up again, because there'll be a tremendous amount of heat until those rings seat in. After heat cycling it, I go back around to the cylinder base nuts, retorque them, and then I retorque the head gaskets also. Anytime I'm torquing at a specific value, I go around twice at that value. So I just went fully around at 15. And now I come back and just double check them. Okay, now I've went around twice checking them at 25 pound-feet. The next thing I'm going to do is go to my final torque, which is 36. One of the most important things to do before you put your base nuts on is to put this rear head bolt in before you put this base nut on. If not, it won't fit on there and you'll end up having to take it back off. This is probably the first time I remembered to do it. It seems like a lot of times I have to take this back off. But it's in there, and then when the heads go on, you're all ready to go. Please hit the like, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in below. I'd love to be able to help you out if I can.